What if everything we've seen in the MCU so far was never real? Free will? What if every battle, every sacrifice, even Loki's multiversal throne moment, was just part of a bigger, secret plan? Because recently, Marvel dropped a line that has fans spiraling. It all leads to doom. And no, that's not just a cool villain tease. It might be a warning. In this video, we're diving deep into the theory that Dr. Doom has already won, that the multiverse is still trapped in a loop, and that even Loki's sacrifice may have just played into Doom's hands. From Battleworld to hidden timelines, suppressed heroes to altered destinies, here's how the MCU might be secretly ruled by Doom. Ready for the breakdown? Hold up, smash that subscribe button on Rantent first. When Marvel officially announced Avengers: Doomsday, fans were thrilled, but also confused. The movie's title alone hinted at chaos, destruction, maybe even a multiversal collapse. But it was the tagline at the end that really caught everyone's attention. It all leads to Doom. Not just Doom as in disaster, but Dr. Doom. One of the most powerful and feared characters in Marvel Comics, Doom isn't just a villain, he's a force. And here's the thing. Marvel doesn't drop lines like that casually. Because in the comics, Doom plays a central role in Secret Wars. He creates Battleworld by merging timelines, stealing power from the Beyonders, and literally becoming a god. So when the MCU ends a major trailer or presentation with "It all leads to Doom," it's not just hype. It's foreshadowing. We're being told that Dr. Doom isn't coming, he's inevitable. And if you look closely, everything since Loki Season 2 and Multiverse of Madness has been nudging us toward one conclusion. Battleworld is coming, and Doom is already being set up as its ruler. Now here's where things get really wild. Because according to Loki Season 1, the entire multiverse was being controlled by one man, He Who Remains. After a brutal multiversal war between his own variants, he created the sacred timeline, one single path, where everything happened exactly as he wanted. No deviation, no free will, only his script. Anyone who strayed from that script, pruned. And if you remember, Loki himself was almost erased, until he found out that the Time Variance Authority, the TVA, was just enforcing a massive lie. That free will existed. But here's the twist. Even when Loki broke the timeline, even when he killed He Who Remains, what if that was part of the plan too? What if He Who Remains knew exactly what would happen? Loki grants free will. The multiverse explodes. Doom rises. A new loop begins, and it still ends in Doom. Because that's the nature of a loop. No matter how much you fight it, you always end up back where you started. And now, we might just be watching the next loop unfold, all leading to Battleworld. So far, Marvel has introduced dozens of heroes: Avengers, Guardians, Young Avengers, Thunderbolts. But strangely, some of the most important Marvel teams are still missing. We're talking about the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, and of course, Dr. Doom. These aren't just random characters, they are essential to the multiverse saga, especially in the comics. Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four literally discovers the multiverse. The X-Men are key players in countless incursions. And Dr. Doom? He becomes a god during Secret Wars. So why have we seen nothing of them until now? Here's the theory. He Who Remains didn't just control time. He controlled who existed. What if he intentionally erased the existence of these teams from the sacred timeline? Because Reed Richards is too smart. Because the X-Men are too powerful. And because Doom could dethrone him. And right after Loki sits on the throne, at the end of Season 2, boom, Marvel starts announcing the Fantastic Four. Mutants are suddenly being teased in Deadpool. And rumors about Doom appearing in Avengers: Doomsday start exploding online. That's not coincidence. That's the loop starting to break, and the erased pieces of the multiverse returning. But the real question is, are they returning to save us, or to bring the final war? Let's take this theory even deeper. If He Who Remains really controlled the timeline, then removing Doom, the Fantastic Four, and the X-Men wasn't just strategy, it was surgical erasure. Think about it. What if Tony Stark, the Iron Man we know, was never meant to be Iron Man at all? What if, in another timeline, he was Victor Von Doom? Maybe born in Latveria. Maybe raised by a mother who taught him magic, just like in the comics. But in the sacred timeline, that path was erased. Doom's magical destiny was rerouted into science. Stark becomes Iron Man, a hero destined to sacrifice himself. A hero that He Who Remains could control. And the mutants? Maybe they were never born at all. What if He Who Remains manipulated genetics on a global scale, removing the mutant gene entirely? No X-Men, no Magneto, no Professor X, just silence. And the Fantastic Four? Well, Reed Richards is literally the smartest man in the Marvel Universe. In the comics, he invents a device called the Bridge, a portal to view every possible universe. That alone makes him more dangerous than any variant of Kang. So, He Who Remains erased him too. Because when you're trying to control a multiverse, you don't want wild cards. You want pawns. And Reed, Doom, and the X-Men were never going to be pawns. They were kings. And now they're coming back. So here's where it all comes together. Loki, at the end of Season 2, sits on the throne, holding the entire multiverse together. He sacrifices everything to give people free will. But what if even that was part of the loop? Think about it. Every time someone tries to change the timeline, it just resets. The sacred timeline isn't a straight line anymore. It's a spiral. No matter what Loki does, no matter how hard he tries to break the cycle, it always leads back to Doom. And maybe that's the point. The loop doesn't end until Doom wins. In this version of events, Doom rises, builds Battleworld, and crushes every other hero. Kang variants try to stop him, but fail. Only one Kang survives, He Who Remains, who then resets the timeline again to keep Doom at bay, until the next multiversal war. So now we ask, could Secret Wars finally be the moment the loop breaks? Could this be the battle that finally shatters the cycle, ending Doom's reign, breaking He Who Remains' control, and freeing the multiverse for real? Or will we just spiral back to where we started? Because it all leads to Doom. With all this multiversal madness, Kang variants, sacred timelines, Doom rising, who should tell the final story? The answer is Loki. Not just because he's the god of mischief. Not just because he's fan favorite. But because he's lived it. He's seen the TVA from the inside. He's met He Who Remains. He's sat on the throne holding time itself. No one else in the MCU understands the cost of free will and fate the way he does. That's why Secret Wars, or even Avengers, Doomsday doesn't need Jonathan Majors. You don't need to show Kang. You don't need to explain the sacred timeline again. Just let Loki narrate it. Through flashbacks, through voiceovers, through moments where we see everything he's endured and everything he's tried. Imagine this. Doom rises. Battleworld begins. The multiverse cracks again. And we hear Loki's voice say, "No matter what I did, it always led here." That would hit hard, and it would prove that Loki, not Kang, is the emotional core of this entire saga. Because we're not just watching heroes fight. We're watching Loki try to break a curse over and over again, and maybe finally win. So, what if this was never Kang's story at all? What if everything, the sacred timeline, the TVA, even the return of the X-Men and Fantastic Four, was always about one thing? Dr. Doom. Maybe Loki broke the cycle. Maybe he didn't. But if there's one thing we know now, it's this. It all leads to Doom. And when Secret Wars arrives, we might finally see the end of the loop. Or maybe, just maybe, we'll realize we were always inside it. And the best part, you don't need every answer. You just need a theory. Because these stories let us imagine, connect the dots, and see what others miss. That's the magic of being a Marvel fan. If this theory blew your mind, hit like, drop a comment with your take, and make sure you subscribe to Rantent so you don't miss what's coming next. Until then, keep questioning the timeline. And remember, the multiverse is watching.